Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This week we'll be talking about forgiveness. But before we get started, make sure you give me the thumbs up down below to encourage me to make more videos of this type. Also, subscribe to the channel where you will find additional videos of this nature and be notified of new releases. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Forgiveness. A word so simple, yet it carries the weight of the world. It's an act that transcends pride, resentment, and pain. But what is forgiveness? Truly, it's not weakness, nor is it surrender. Forgiveness is the conscious decision to release resentment, to free oneself from the chains of bitterness. It does not mean forgetting, nor does it mean condoning wrongdoing. Rather, it's choosing peace over anger and growth over stagnation. But why forgive? Why let go when the pain is so justified? Because forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. Holding on to anger is like gripping a burning coal, expecting the other person to feel the heat. In truth, it's only you who suffers. When we forgive, we reclaim our power. We stop allowing another's action to dictate our emotional well-being. We free ourselves. Now let's consider a thought-provoking question. Who is the strongest, the forgiver or the forgiven? Society often portrays strength as dominance, but true strength lies in the ability to rise above hurt. The forgiver is the one who breaks the cycle of pain, who chooses healing over harm. It takes courage to release the burden of resentment. It takes wisdom to understand that forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about liberating oneself. Yet what happens when forgiveness is offered but seems unnecessary? When someone says, "I don't need to be forgiven." This is where humility enters. Accepting forgiveness requires introspection, a willingness to acknowledge that, whether intentionally or not, we may have caused harm. True strength lies not only in granting forgiveness, but also accepting it with grace. But who decides when forgiveness is required? Where does such guidance originate? Some seek answers in faith, in divine wisdom. Others look inward, listening to the quiet voice of conscience. Forgiveness is not about permission, it's about perspective. It's not about justifying, but about understanding. The decision to forgive is deeply personal, yet its effects ripple far beyond the self. Is it ever too late to forgive? Some wounds feel irreparable. Some conflicts seem eternal. But forgiveness does not operate on a timeline. Even in the final moments of life, reconciliation remains possible. We have all heard the stories of those who waited until their last breath to say, "I'm sorry," or "I forgive you." Time may pass, but the opportunity for forgiveness remains as long as there is a willing heart. And so, who benefits most from forgiveness? It's easy to assume that the forgiven gains the most, yet in truth, it is the forgiver who experiences the greatest transformation. Resentment poisons the soul, but forgiveness cleanses it. It allows us to move forward, unburdened, to love fully, to live freely. But forgiveness is not just personal. It extends to society. Imagine a world where past grievances do not fuel endless cycles of vengeance, where understanding replaces animosity, where communities prioritize healing over hostility. The act of forgiveness, when embraced collectively, fosters unity, mends divisions, and builds bridges where walls once stood. It's a force capable of transforming not just individuals, but nations. In closing, I ask you, what burden are you carrying? What anger are you clutching? And most importantly, what freedom awaits you when you choose to forgive? All right, boys and girls, that's my thoughts on the subject. I appreciate you stopping by, and I appreciate you giving me the time. Make sure you give me the thumbs up down below to encourage me to make more videos of this type. Also, subscribe to the channel where you will find additional videos of this nature, and you'll be notified of new releases. And until we see each other again, have a grateful day, and we will see you in the next one.